Talking about Nigeria in this age, in this season, especially in the last 1-2 decades, has been a very tough thing because there's too much of emotions that flow into it when you start talking about Nigeria. People come at you no matter what you say, depending on the political coloration that is influencing their position at the moment. Even when your position, you're trying to be very objective, there's a tempestuousness that comes with talking about Nigeria in this era. So one has to be very careful. At the same time, what has to be said has to be said. So on the question that you have asked about why I believe that change is possible in Nigeria, despite the many things that happen in our country and the kind of experiences that we've had, and even the kind of leadership that we've experienced in recent times, there are a few things for me. One, I believe that every nation that has caught the admiration of Nigerians were built by people who were driven by either a sense of vision or a sense of collective interest and not a sense of personal individual interest. I think one of the biggest pitfalls for us is that a lot of us, a huge percentage of Nigerians, are driven by personal self-interest. You see it in our electioneering, you see it in our politics, you see it in institutions. An individual just feels that if this thing can benefit me and myself and my family, it doesn't matter if it doesn't benefit others. I don't know if you've seen these pranks that you see on social media where someone says that between you getting a millionaire and your friend getting 100 million, which would you choose? And to my biggest surprise, most people will choose, let me have the 1 millionaire, because if my friend has the 100 million, I might not have a share in it. And I think that speaks subtly to how we think and how we approach life. We approach it from a club mentality, an individualistic approach to thinking about life, that if this policy favors me and my family, if this government favors me and my family, and I'm not saying it in a despicable way, but I mean the favor in the sense that it doesn't matter what's happening in the nation. If everything is falling apart, as long as it has not affected me. If the ship is capsizing but the water has not gotten into my side of the ship, then we are good. That mentality is one of the things that keep us small as a nation, as a people. As a matter of fact, unfortunately, as a race, as a black race. But why am I still very hopeful about this country? Because one, I believe that if we can change the mindset and the thinking of our people on a very large scale, not a few, not outliers, if we can have a broad, widespread mind shift, it means that we can collectively believe that something is possible and we can collectively envision something possible beyond where we are at the moment. That's number one. For me, number two is the power of hope. Hope is a dangerous thing, but I remember someone also shared that the first duty of hope is to make hopelessness bearable. And I believe this. I've believed it for the longest time since I came across that quote. The first duty of hope is to make hopelessness bearable. I think that in our aspiration and our cursing out and hunger, we must embody a sense of a possibility of a better situation, a better nation, a better world, right? So we must cultivate a kind of hope that is not reluctant, rather a kind of hope that is built on collective action, that is built on collective input, that is in line with the kind of vision that we see for our nation. And the third, and I think this is the most touchy part, because when you talk about leadership, people think of it from the distance. They don't see it from their own point of view. I think the third thing is leadership at every level. Leadership at the political level, leadership at the business, enterprise, organizational level, leadership at the family level. So think about it. Many of the people who we consider corrupt leaders, corrupt politicians, were raised in the family, were raised in the local government, were raised in the school, raised in the society, raised among a couple of friends, a small community. And the kind of leaders that we have promoted, whether we claim that we voted for them or not, they are a reflection of our collective identity. Now, it doesn't mean that you as an individual, you are exactly like your president or like your governor. But I'm saying that they are a reflection of our collective identity and our collective aspiration, whether we like to admit it or not. And this one is a very tricky part, this leadership aspect, because you could say that, but in my own space, I'm giving it my best. But not many people are giving it their best, or not many people are ethical in their leadership. So my hope for the possibility for a change in Nigeria is anchored on these three things I've mentioned. If I could go further a little bit on the leadership aspect, leadership most often reflects or inspires the kind of followership many times. And followership in many ways inspires the kind of leadership, how the leadership runs. And I'll give a little example. So you elect a set of leaders, but as followers, you are not holding them accountable because of fear, because of personal interest, of whatever reason. That kind of leadership is already set up to run by its own whims without necessarily deferring to the people we elected. Now, in the flip side of it, a leadership that is competent, capable, and strong can influence how leaders respond to social change. Now, give an example. As a political leader, I don't necessarily have a convoy of 800 vehicles running urgently to go and fulfill no particular mission on the expressway, and citizens have to hold on their day business for hours because the governor or the president or senator is passing by. That already reflects the kind of leadership, followership that I'm training as a leader. I'm already teaching followers what to aspire to, how to be crude, and how to be reckless in their own leadership, in their own microscopic spaces. I'm already mirroring to them the kind of leadership they can aspire to that lacks a sense of order and coordination, but rather that infringes upon the rights of the common man. So, you see, the balance between followership and leadership is a very, very tight and tricky one. But I believe that if we train people to embody a sense of communal leadership on a large scale, and we also do our best to empower leaders, to empower people into leadership who are ethical, who are committed to the good of all and not to the good of few, I think we might be on the right trajectory. It might take long, but it doesn't necessarily have to take long. It might take decades, but it can also take much, much shorter. We've seen nations transform within a couple of years, very short period of time, and we've seen nations transform within a couple of decades. I think that for the most part, there is give and take relationship between the kind of followership and the kind of leadership that initiates the process of social transformation in such communities.